Hello, it's Douglas Maddie from Altered Perceptions, and today I'm going to be reacting to Margot Robbie's Magic, I'm Just Doing Basic Tricks. Let's have a look at it.
I want you to think of a card from inside. Number and suit.
Yep.
Good?
Yep.
Margot, you're going to spray the cards at me. Okay. Can you cover my eyes now so I'll be blindfolded?
One of the things I like about this to begin with is the fact that he's doing this in their home by the looks of it. Now, ordinarily, if you're booked for a gig or a venue or something like that, you're usually out and about and people are dressed up and all that kind of stuff. When I've done house parties before, they are my favourite type of gig. Like, I've been booked for like birthday parties and stuff like that for adults. You know, ordinarily people have seen magicians and children's entertainers at children's parties, but people also hire magicians to come and do birthday parties for like 20, 21, like up to like, and wedding anniversaries in people's own home. And I love doing that. These are my favourite types of gigs because everybody's relaxed, everybody's with their family and friends. It's a really good environment to be doing magic tricks. There's no curtain call, there's no you know, if you're performing at tables and stuff like that, you don't have to be rushed off, or waiters, there's no time limits and that kind of stuff. So just performing in people's homes is personally my favourite venue to be performing at, and especially if it's in somebody's living room with a small group of people, usually between say 5 and 10 people, is perfect. So just by looking at this video here and what David Blaine's doing in this special here, I really love the intimacy that brings, and I really find that provides a more genuine reaction. Whereas when people are out and about, there's different distractions, like the disco might be on, or the waiters are serving food, or somebody walks in and they're like, hi, I haven't seen you for ages, and then you're having to stop halfway through a trick. The great thing about doing it in people's own home and doing it in this kind of a setting is that you have their full undivided attention, so that you don't have to worry about getting their attention because you've already got it and they're there to see you. And they also develop a better relationship with you because they're interacting with you as a person, as opposed to you having a set script on stage. You can just casually talk to them as you would do at a normal setting. So this venue, I also like pubs as well. If you're in a pub doing magic or something like that, something that's very casual, I often find produces the best magic performance because it's just so intimate. So it's a really good move for David Blaine on his part here to have the setting in these celebrities' homes, because it just adds that extra personal touch to everything.
Which one?
2 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds?
2.
Margot, spray the cards at me.
That was good.
Wait, so how
Which
did
one? Hold on. So there was...
2 of diamonds.
Let me see if it's... Let me see.
Shut the fuck up!
You're thinking of something that I could never know, even if I researched you.
Yeah, yeah.
You're thinking of, like, when you were 5 years old. And it was something, I don't know much, but it's something with, it was like with your family, like,
Yeah.
something that meant a lot to you.
I'm gonna cry. Yes?
Did I say Dunny or Bunny?
Bunny.
Bunny, thank you.
You were also thinking...
She's Australian, just going out to the Danny.
But make sure nobody's looking at what you're searching. Think of a word in the article. And you have a word? Think of a letter in that word. In the word, think of a letter.
Okay.
Okay, wait. So you changed.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
went from an M to an R.
Yeah.
Funch. See what I wrote?
Yeah.
What was the word that you were thinking of?
Numerous?
So the whole idea of reading somebody's mind or plucking a word out of somebody's mind is a very old concept in magic. Ordinarily, ironically, it would be done with books, and it's called a book test. And this is kind of like a modern version of a book test, and she just happens to be standing next to a load of books. So I don't know if that was done on purpose, or whether, you know, to say that one word out of all these words could be in it, whether that was intentional or whether that's just a lucky coincidence, I don't know. But it's interesting, because ordinarily how this trick would work is that you would have a book, and you would go through the book, and you would look at a word, remember the word, and then the magician would tell you what the word is that you looked at from all these books that you could have selected. So ordinarily would have been done with a book in the background. Looks like Bill Cosby is one of those. Fantastic. Yeah, taste of death. Lovely. Anyway, sorry, getting back to the trick. So I like the idea of using somebody's phone, because anything that you do that can make it more personal, if you was to take a book off somebody's shelf, that would be personal. It would be more personal than if you was to get a book out the library, for example, because somebody had chosen that book. The same is true with the word. So when this as well is it's a double mind read, so he gets two words out of this. So ordinarily you would just do one word, but David Blaine's done a doubler. A David doubler, let's call it. And so there's so many things to say about this. I like the fact that he's getting her to use her phone and do a Google search, something like that, because again, it's using modern technology to do an old-fashioned effect. So it's bringing it, it's giving a new slant on the effect. It's more of a naturalistic thing to do than to pick up a book. Also, if you're a magician and you handle a book, people can be very suspicious about forcing in the same way that you could force a card. So when somebody takes out their own phone and Googles whatever it is that they want to go on to land on a page to find a word that they're not even looking at, they're totally in control of that and their own device, and it's all very intimate and personal because it's on their phone and it's in their mind, and that they're the only two people that could have interacted with it. So that it's not like a book that could be set up and the magician has no physical control over it, so he couldn't force the word. So I love what David Blaine's done here, in the sense that he's got it so that it's all very intimate and personal, and so that nobody else could possibly know about it. So that's one of the words that he's got. The other word was one from a childhood memory, and again, whenever you do mind reading or anything like that, or involve people, it's the more personal the better, because the more personal it is, the more it elicits emotion. So when you look at the way that she's reacting to these two words, one is a random one that she got off the internet, which doesn't really mean much to her, it's just a word she picked out. And you look at the other word, it's a word that she associates to her childhood memory, where she has to go back in time. It's very personal to her, and she chose that word. It wasn't one that she just stumbled upon. And you notice the difference in her emotional reaction. She's impressed at both, like her and her sister, I believe that's her sister or a friend or whoever it is, like both react to it. They both go back and they react to it. They got the magic reaction, like, you know, they've reacted to the magic trick. But the one where it was talking about, I believe the word was bunny, was just so much more personal to her, and she was almost like she was almost going to cry. She was just like overwhelmed with emotion, because it elicits all that memory, and memory's emotion. And the more you can bring make it more personal to somebody, the more emotions it's going to elicit, as opposed to, wow, how did you do that? So it's really interesting about noticing the difference between one is how you present your magic trick to make it feel more personal, so that there's no possible way he could have known that. And then the second way is to actually make it personal. We spoke about storytelling here before on the channel, whereby if you're recollecting it from somebody's own personal history that is something really sentimental to them, they'll never forget it, because it's like, how did he possibly know that? In a week or two, or in a couple of days, or even maybe in a few hours, she'll forget that word, and she'll forget how she stumbled upon it, but she'll never forget that he said bunny. Now notice what David Blaine is doing here. He could probably just say what the word is, bunny. Okay, and it's bunny. They go, wow, yeah, how did you know that? But he's not doing that. He's what's called fishing. He's sort of like he's just reeling it in a little bit. He's indicating around it what he thinks it might be. He's talking very vaguely. Oh, this could be this was from the past. This was with your family. This could have so, and people are like, yeah, because it helps build that picture. And what it does is it helps build the anticipation for, is he going to get the word right or isn't he? And it recreates the whole feeling and the vibe and the memory. It re-elicits the memory as opposed to just saying the word. So notice how he's building it up. That's essentially what he's doing, because he could just say the word is bunny, but he doesn't. And when he gets the other lady's hand in and he starts writing up and, oh, it's got this letter in it and all that, he's teasing, and that spikes dopamine levels, because people are kind of like stuck in anticipation. They want to know if you're going to get it or not. Whereas if he just said it, then you wouldn't have that spike of dopamine, because there's no anticipation there. So he's building and building and building and building it, and then when he says the word, it's like a crescendo, as opposed to just coming out and saying the word and it being flat. So the performance that David Blaine is doing here, again, this is like a 5-minute video or so, and this could be done in like a minute, 30 seconds. So he's really savouring the flavour. He's really teasing it out. He's really evoking the memory itself, as opposed to just saying a word. And that makes all the difference in terms of the performance. And also you can see from this that they're already reacting. Just by him hinting at that he might know it, they're like, "Oh my god, oh my!" Like the anticipation that it's bubbling up, and again, you lose all that when you just say the word itself. So you can get multiple reactions out of one trick. It doesn't have to be trick reaction. You can get trick, and then everything that you build around that can have a reaction off the back of it, and that really explodes the effect. And then when people remember it accumulatively, they remember everything that was part of it, and it's a much broader range of emotional experience. So this is really quite a masterclass in mind reading, this video, because he's really building it up. And there's a couple of other things that David Blaine does here that's kind of unique to David Blaine, but if you can incorporate them into your magic as well, or if you any performance that you do, this is like really important. You'll notice that people are like laughing in the background, sometimes nervous a little because they're finding something funny or whatever, and David Blaine just keeps focus. He just focuses, so that then that quietens everyone else down without actually asking everyone to be quiet. He controls where the attention's going, and also he doesn't go at the pace of other people. He's not reacting to people. So when people go, oh, he's like, oh, like that, and he's not being jovial about it. He doesn't react. He's being proactive, and he's slowing things down. He's writing it slowly. He's going at his own pace. He's not reacting to people and going at their pace and the atmosphere of the room. So this is another thing as well. It really sucks your attention in, and it really makes a performance captivating, because it just silences the room and everyone's just paying full attention. And it's something that David Blaine does a lot. People like overreact, or they don't overreact, but they have a huge emotional reaction to some of his card tricks or performances, and the way that he does it, instead of like going out a normal magician would, thank you, and getting a round of applause and, oh no, the greatest magician in the world, and being egotistical, he just brings back the attention and just creates a void. And that makes him even more enigmatic and charismatic. And by keeping it all inside and not being reactive with the room, it creates more of a mystery. And again, it creates a feeling to the performance. And you'll notice it in the way that this video is edited as well. The very subtle music in the background that's been edited over. It really just helps create that calm atmosphere of something's happening here. Because he could just come on and go, the word's bunny, and they'll go, yeah, well, yeah, but he doesn't. Notice David Blaine's style. It's very eloquent, it's very classical, and it's very modern, while still maintaining a lot of mystery that is identified and revolves around magic. The other thing that David Blaine's done here, which is ingenious, is that he's not using paper. Ordinarily you would have a whiteboard, or you'd have a piece of paper and you'd write it down and reveal the word. But he's not doing that. He's using somebody's hand. And if you've ever had somebody write on your hand, especially the palm where it's like sensitive, it will feel funny. And what he's doing is, when this then later on happens and people are talking about what happened, I remember when he read our minds and all that kind of stuff, she might even say, I even felt something tingling in my hand because he's touched a hand. Because using human beings as props, it's sort of like, it makes it more improvised, so that you don't need to be carrying things around with you. You can just get a pen, get somebody's hand and write it on there. That's a very unique twist, because she's having a feeling. Writing on somebody's hand is a feeling, in the same way as if you just trickle your finger down like sensitive areas of like your skin. It just feels funny and bizarre, and it adds to that emotional reaction. And the fact that it's right in front of her face but she's not allowed to see what it is, again, it's building the anticipation. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll be notified of our latest videos.